just tell you who I am and what the accent is that you're hearing, because that's the question. I was born here in Cape Town. I used to speak Afrikaans apparently, but when I was 7, we moved to the US. My parents are Israeli, and then I moved back here about 10 years ago. So that's the accent you're hearing. I have a company called Empower Funding. Who knows what bridging finance is? Just by a show of hands. 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, okay. Do you guys know how bridging finance works for the seller as well? No, the seller. Okay, I'm going to explain it as if you don't know. For some of you it might, oh, I know this. For some of you it might fill in some gaps. Basically, when a property has been sold, okay, we've sold this property, now you get your commission only in 2 to 3 months, correct? Okay, so in that 2 to 3 month period of time, you wait on your money, and sometimes you want some of that money ahead of time. You might want it for personal use, you might want it for your marketing, you might want it for whatever you need, to pay for petrol, whatever you need. You might need 10,000 Rand out of your 40,000 Rand commission just for the next month to have a little bit of extra. When you need that, we'll provide that. So you're waiting on your commission, you don't want to wait, you get bridging finance, you get your money ahead of time. And we do that at the most affordable rate in the country. So if you were to go and bridge with anyone else, you will pay more, guaranteed. There's no doubt about it. They will charge you more, much more. So that's what bridging finance is for the agent. In the same way that you wait 2 to 3 months for your commission, the seller is waiting for 2 to 3 months for their proceeds, for the money from the sale. They're just waiting. Now, when a seller sells a property, he sells it because there was a big reason to sell a property. Like, it's not an overnight decision. They made a big decision to sell. Like, that's major. Either they want to buy a new place, or they're moving overseas, or they need the money to invest in their business, or they need the money but they made this decision. Now they have to wait for 3 months. And then they start calling you as the agent, like a month in, like, why isn't the sale happening? Why is it taking so long? What's the delays? They're stressed because they need some money ahead of time. Now, if you explain to them bridging finance in the same way that you can get your commission early, they can get some of their proceeds, however much they need. Maybe they're getting 800,000 Rand out of this sale. After they pay the bond costs and blah, 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 they have 800,000 Rand left. But maybe they need 100,000 Rand right now for their kids' school fees, which is some of their life expenses that they need. Or for the fact that they're planning on relocating to, I don't know, to Plet, and so they need some money right now to put a deposit. Or they need the money for rates. How many times are you selling a property and it gets stuck because the guy needs to pay 84,000 Rand in rates, and he has to figure out where to get that money from because he needs some money and he doesn't have that money to give you. So you tell him, look, what you do, you bridge the transfer costs, you bridge the amount of money that you're waiting on. That way, you put the money down, it's the most affordable in South Africa. You only take the money for like a month or two, the property will that way move forward and the sale will be done. So you can also speed up a sale by bridging. Maybe they want the money for buying a new property. So you're selling them, they're selling this one and they're buying another one. And you're helping them there. And they need to put down a deposit on the new one they're buying. So there's endless ways that they might need the money ahead of time. If you explain to them bridging finance, 2 things. Most importantly, they love you. You're giving them money ahead of time, you're giving them a solution, and they will really appreciate the fact that you help them out. But also, we will give you a referral fee for bringing people to us. So if you connect them to us, we will give you a percentage of what we earn out of it simply for bringing us a seller.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
Does the interest change if you're getting 40,000 or 100,000?
No, it's the same rate no matter the amount you take. You can take 4,000 or 400. What's that?
Flat rate, yeah.
Flat rate, yeah. The way they calculate it is most people do 1.5 Rand for every 1,000 Rand you take. Every day you will be charged 1.5 Rand per day. So 1.5 Rand per day for every 1,000. So if you take 10,000 Rand, okay, there's 10 thousands in that. So they calculate it based on how many thousands you've taken. So for 10,000 Rand, 1.5 Rand per day means you're paying 15 Rand a day. That's how most people calculate it, 15 Rand a day. On 100,000 Rand, it's 150 Rand a day, okay? With us, our rate is 1 Rand per 1,000 Rand per day. 1 Rand. Meaning on 100,000 Rand, you will pay 100 Rand. That's why I'm saying it's significantly more affordable. It's like a major deduction. And you'll see if you research, most people are either 1.3 per day or 1.5, whereas we're 1 Rand, no admin fee, no additional cost, doesn't matter if it's a big amount, small amount, it's 1 Rand per 1,000 Rand per day for agents and for the sellers, no matter what, yeah.
You take that money up front before you give us the commission.
No, it's at the end. That money,
And
so,
once the money comes in.
yeah, so let's say that you're due 50,000 Rand in commission, and right now you decide, I need 10,000 Rand, okay? So you bridge 10,000 Rand from us, okay? Now you've taken that 10,000 Rand, and you're only gonna get paid in a month, to make it easy, okay? On 1 month, okay, remember it's 10 Rand a day, because you've taken 10,000 Rand, so 10 Rand a day, 30 days later, it becomes 300 Rand that you owe us, okay? But what happens is, you are getting 50,000 Rand. So when the property transfers, the attorney pays us back 10,300, okay? And you will get 39,700 Rand back, the remaining amount you just get back. So the attorney will give us the amount and you the amount. They just split it upon transfer. You don't need to pay anything up front. It's only at the end. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it just deducts on a per day basis. It doesn't escalate like some bridging finance firms, like after the first 45 days, the rate changes or whatever. This is the rate across the time for any amount. Now the fascinating thing is that a lot of agents that I speak to don't really know how this works. And for sure, sellers don't know how this works. The seller doesn't even know this is an option to them. So now they've sold a property, and all of a sudden they get this crazy amount that they owe on their rates of, it can be crazy random numbers, like 63,471 and 24 cents, they get this bill. And the seller's like, how am I gonna pay this right now? You tell them, look, you can bridge. When you bridge that money, and any extra that you want, by the way, if you want an extra 40,000 for the month, you can take that as well. Bridge it. We'll help them out. We are super fast. Like, if all the paperwork's in place, they'll get their money in 24 hours. It's like instant. This isn't like a bank that it takes weeks to get your money. If you want 10,000 Rand of your commission and the paperwork is in place, you'll get your money in 24 hours. So you'll show the seller, look, bridge. And then they'll come and we'll help them, and then the sale moves ahead. Because they're not stuck with figuring out for a week and a half from their parents or from wherever how to cover this crazy 63,000 Rand amount. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. Any questions about bridging?
Yeah.
Yes.
Conditions. Is it just down to guarantees in place?
Yes. So we want to make sure that the guarantees are in place. Okay? We want to make sure that there's no suspensive conditions. Okay? Meaning, suspensive conditions meaning something can change. Like, there's some clause in the sale agreement that says, I don't know, that the buyer has to get a bond first. The buyer needs to have gotten a bond, everything needs to be in place, and the guarantees need to be in place. When that's all in place, that's it. That's all we need. Paperwork signed, of course, sale agreement signed. So the deal just has to be a done deal. Not like, the buyer is still trying to get their bond or something. No, everyone needs to have their data in place, their guarantees in place, paperwork, and then it's good to go. Make sense?
Yeah.
Any other questions about that? Whoever the transferring attorney is on that deal, they will pay that back. So it just depends, it's deal dependent. Whoever is the transferring attorney on that deal, and we work with every attorney in Cape Town probably we've worked with. So from STBB to the small person that's kind of working as, there are some attorneys that just kind of work from their home type thing. Okay guys, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.